my god, I look like a mess.
Like, it's go time. Okay, so I look like a mess, but I finally kind of have time to film this video. Long overdue. I'm just going to be talking about my pregnancy, how I found out, my birth, what it was like. So yeah, I found out I was pregnant on Halloween. I don't know why I decided to take a test that day. I literally was just kind of like, hey, I think I might be pregnant. I don't know. Let's go check. So after school, I have like an hour or two before my mom gets home. So I had Max go and buy a test at the store and came back and I told him to just wait outside the bathroom. So I took the first one and I took the first one and hold on. So I clearly don't have time to film this video, but we're gonna try it anyways, see how she does. So we come home and I run to the bathroom and I lock myself in the bathroom because I just didn't want him to find out. So I take the first test and I'm just waiting and it's positive. So I asked for the second test just because I want to make sure. And so I take the second test and it's broken. It did not work. There was no results at all. So I was freaking out. I call Max in the bathroom. I'm like, the first one's positive, but it could be false. Like, it couldn't be. Max kept trying to talk to me about it, and I was just like, no, I'm not pregnant. Like, there's no way I'm pregnant. Like, it's not true. Let's just not even talk about it. Like, let's have a good night. So every time we're alone, he's like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, about what? Like, nothing's happening. I was just so in denial. And yeah, I mean, it's just really a shock when you find out. So you don't really want to accept it right away, or at least I didn't. Because, I mean, you're like, no, I'm 16, this can't be happening. No, what's the matter? So, yeah, he was just like, well, what are you going to tell your parents? And I was like, I'm not, because I'm not pregnant. Like, there's no way. So I just take the test and I kind of just like throw them like in the trash in my room and I'm just kind of leave them there. And I forgot about them. And so the next day I was doing my makeup in my mom's room and she had gone and went into my room looking for like her mascara or something because I always steal her makeup. And she had found the test. Okay. So yeah, the very next day, my mom goes into my room looking for some makeup, like for some mascara that she thought I had. And she goes in and she sees the pregnancy test and sees that it's positive. So she calls my dad in there and they're talking. And I know they're talking because I went and I saw that they were in my sister's room and the door was closed. And so when my dad left to go take my sister to school, my mom just kind of straight up asked me, she was like, so are you pregnant? And I was like, no. And then she told me that she had found the test in my room. And me being as stupid as I am, I was like, that's not mine. Like, it's not even correct. I'm not pregnant. I took it a while ago. Like, I just said so much stupid things that, like, didn't even make sense with each other. So she was kind of like, why are you lying to me? Like, stop lying. Just admit it. Like, I have a test here I can make you take and just all of these things. And I just wasn't ready to admit it because I didn't even admit it to myself. Like, I was still like, I'm not pregnant. So I never really said that I was. It's just I started bawling and then my mom, she started crying and my dad had got home by then and he was just kind of like, I don't even remember what they told me. It was just kind of like, it was just awful. It was awkward. It was awful. So I went to school and I was crying. I was in a bad mood. Like, my parents had just found out the day after I did. It was just everything had just happened so fast that I just was not prepared for it. And so I go into class and I'm crying and my friends are like, what's wrong? Like, what is up with you? and I just kind of like look at them, and they start guessing all of these things, like, and then finally my friend was like, "Are you pregnant?" And I actually told her yes. Emily was the first person that I was like, "Yes, I am pregnant," that I could actually admit it to. And so everybody just asked me, like all my friends, Max, my mom, they were just like, "What do you want to do?" And I had no idea. So I thought about everything. I thought about adoption. I even thought about abortion. My mom had even taken me to Planned Parenthood to kind of see what our options were, and that was a very scary experience too. There was like people outside like shouting, telling us not to go in, and it was scary, but I had just kept going back and forth on what I was going to do, and my mom was like, "You need to just have this baby, and you need to keep this baby, because if you don't, you're going to regret it," because she's like, "You're already going back and forth, so I know you're going to regret it." So yeah, so then we just went from there. Whenever I got about 5 months, yeah, like whenever I got about 4 or 5 months, I switched to a school for parenting teens because I didn't want anybody at my old school to find out. Even though everybody kind of already was talking about it, because I'd quit the cheer team, I switched schools, so it was already kind of going around that, "Oh, Chloe's pregnant," but I just never admitted it to anybody, and nobody even asked me. They would ask my friends, but yeah, so I switched to a school for parenting teens, and that helped me so much. I was having such a hard time accepting the fact that I was pregnant, and seeing those girls like happily pregnant, and like seeing those girls with their babies, and just the bond that they had, like really helped me accept it, and like really made me excited. So, oh yeah, okay. This is like very off topic, but the whole entire pregnancy, I thought I was having a girl, and everybody else thought I was having a boy. Everybody in my family, Max's family, they were all convinced that I was having a boy. So I like started thinking of all these boy names, was mentally preparing myself to have a boy, even though I deep down thought I was having a girl. And so we found out it was a girl, and everybody was shocked. And I was just like, "I knew it, I knew it." Okay.
Hey, I just realized that I kind of skipped over how my entire pregnancy went, so I'll just cover that right now. Cravings. I ate ramen noodles like every day for like 2 weeks. And then for the rest of my pregnancy it was cereal. Morning sickness. I never got morning sickness like throughout my entire pregnancy. So that was really good. That's also why people thought I was having a boy, because apparently you get morning sickness with girls. I don't know. But what else? Back pain. I had the worst back pain ever with her. Yeah, I mean, I never really ate anything weird, got like really sick or anything. So yeah, I mean, that's why, I feel like that's also why it was hard for me to admit that I was pregnant until like 5 months, because I didn't really have a lot of the symptoms that people go through. So once like my stomach actually started getting bigger, that's when I was like, "Oh, like this is real." Like, I don't know, but I didn't have a lot of symptoms, so that's why I was kind of like, I'm not pregnant. But yeah, okay.
So yeah, I mean, there's still people at my school that didn't know I was pregnant, didn't know I had a baby, and so I just never really posted anything about it. I don't know why I was still very secretive about it. I don't know. But I didn't post anything about being pregnant until my baby shower, and that was like a month before I had her. So, or less than a month before I had her. And yeah, so now we get to the birth part. So my family came up on June 23rd, or June 21st, sorry, for my sister's birthday. And then on June 23rd, they started trying to get that baby out. We walked, we danced, we swam, we did so much to try and get this baby out. And everybody was convinced that I was going to have her on June 28th because it's a full moon and people go into labor on full moons. But clearly that didn't happen. So we get to the due date, which was July 4th. I'm not feeling anything. Nothing's happening. We go to the hospital to try and get induced. We go to the hospital to see like if anything's happening, but nothing was.
Oh yeah, by the way, if you know anyone that's pregnant and they're close to their due date, stop asking them every single day, oh, have you felt anything yet, or any news yet, because they're getting that from everybody else too, and it's really annoying. It's actually like, it's fine at the beginning, but whenever it's every day and like it gets closer and closer to the due date, you're also feeling really stressed out, and whenever other people are like asking you constantly if there's anything happening, you kind of feel like pressure, and it's just really annoying, and you don't need it. So just stop asking pregnant people
So
out.
they schedule an induction date for July 11th. So we go in at like, it was like 1 in the mornings, which is really stupid, but so we go in and they start me on the Pitocin, and I don't really feel that much, and it was a 15-hour day. Like I was in labor for like 15, 16 hours, I think it was. I can't remember which one, but yeah, we started off on the Pitocin. The contractions kind of got bigger, but they weren't unbearable. So my mom was like, "You need to get the epidural before they become unbearable." And I was like, "No, because I'm gonna be so focused on the needle and everything, because I'm so terrified of epidurals." Like I would watch videos and be like, "Oh my God, that goes in her spine. That's gonna hurt. So crazy." But it really was not that bad. I mean, I froze the whole time. I didn't talk to anybody. I would just kind of sat there with my head down. Didn't do anything, but yeah, so I get the epidural, and I slept for basically the whole time. And a lot of hours go by. They come in, they're like, "Oh, you're like 5-6 centimeters, we're gonna break your water." So they break my water, and then like 30 minutes to an hour later they come back in, they're like, "All right, let's hope you're like 7 or 8 centimeters." And then the nurse checks and she's like, "I think you're 10." And so I start freaking out because I'm like, "Oh my God, like this is the time, like it's gonna happen right now." And so they send everybody back in, and they're like, "She's 10 centimeters, she's gonna start pushing, like it's go time." So it gets really crazy, and everybody's crying, they're calling everybody on the phone like she's about to have the baby, and I am just so overwhelmed because it was such a long day. I mean, I slept for most of it, but it was a very long pregnancy. I was a week overdue, and so it gets time to start pushing, and I was miserable. I was so miserable. I felt like I had to throw up. I was nauseous.
Oh yeah, I also had every side effect that you could get like during labor, from like the Pitocin and the epidural and stuff. I had the shakes, I had like nausea, I had the burning sensation in my arm, I had either high or low blood pressure, I forgot, but they also had to put an oxygen mask on me because I just was a mess during labor. Yeah.
So whenever we had to hold our breath for 10 seconds and like push, I couldn't even do that. We'd get to 4 seconds and I'd be like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna throw up." So so we kept doing that, and then I finally threw up. And then after that, I was like, "Okay, it's go time." And I just couldn't. The hard part was just trying to get her head over. I don't know, trying to get her head to come out. That was the hardest part. And once it finally, I was so discouraged. And once they were like, "We can see your head, like touch your baby's head," I was like, "Oh no." But I finally did. And once I felt that her head was out, this is so gross. Once I felt that her head was out, I was like, "Okay, like it's go time."
Oh my God, you've said that it's go time about 3 times. We get it, it's go time.
I can do this. Like she's right there. She's coming out like right now. So they send the real doctor in, and I'm pushing even when they tell me that I shouldn't be pushing, and I am just so ready to get this baby out. Like you're only supposed to push on contractions, but I was pushing even when I wasn't even having a contraction. So yeah, it took 55 minutes of me pushing, and Yeah, then she came out.
And the entire time I was pregnant, everybody said I was going to have a 6 or 7 pound baby. Even whenever I got checked into the hospital, she felt my stomach and was like, definitely 6 pounds, give or take a pound. And even whenever she came out, they were like, oh, she's like 8 pounds. And then they weighed her, and she was 9 pounds, 3 ounces. What?
And I totally lost it. I was bawling like a baby. But throughout the entire time of me pushing, I was beating the crap out of my mom. And I didn't even mean to, but like, I would get done pushing and I'd be like, oh my God, like that, and I would be punching her and she was like, stop it. At one point I even like, I guess I grabbed her neck and like pulled her closer, and I was a total mess, which makes me really mad because the other girls were so peaceful during their, like whenever they were giving birth, like they were like, oh yeah, woohoo, like push, we got this. But I was crying, I had to throw up, like I was screaming at everybody, punching people. But yeah, 55 minutes and then she was out. It was a very crazy experience, but I am so glad that I went through all of it because I am so in love with her. And I don't recommend teen pregnancy. It's not the best situation to be in, but it did happen to me, so I made the choice that was right for me. Doesn't necessarily mean it's right for everybody. But yeah, I'm really happy with her. She's sleeping right now. I'm really happy with her, and yeah, I feel like I missed a ton of parts. There's so much more I could have said, but I don't want to edit this video. I don't want to edit this video, and I don't want it to be too long, so maybe in the future I'll upload a more in-depth version, because this was just kind of like bits and pieces. But so yeah, that's the end for this video.